So, yeah, welcome to the workshop. And the idea will be that we'll be making more plants out of existing plants, which is called making cuttings or propagating through cuttings. I have made a little list here. It's the 5 journalistic questions, which I use to analyze this concept. Just to start off with, the original biological mechanism that we will be using, or effect, is that in nature sometimes plants get buried or they fall down, and then the plant has ways to not send out leaves but send out roots instead. And this is a way for plants to keep themselves going in nature. Sometimes you fall over and like your arm falls on the ground and roots come out. That's the way I think of it. And yeah, that's a mechanism that some plants have, not everyone. I'll talk about that in a moment, who has it. But yeah, basically the process is quite simple. In this case we're going to be, well, I'll take like 10 centimeters, something like that. But in this case, you also, just the whole process, you want something that already has some leaves on it, right? So in this case I'm going to take from there, not cut my fingers, and then basically these little buttons or nodes, they're going to start shooting roots out. So in every plant that's going to be different, but these little buttons or
the white things,
white things. I'll show you how it looks on. So this is how it looks on a mint plant. So these are the nodes. It's kind of like bamboo. And from there, little roots come out, and they go into the soil. So. This has been rooting in water. That's why I have it out. Some plants like mint that roots quite well, you can let stand in water, and it will start making roots, and then you can plant it directly. But most plants that we'll be working with today, you have to make the cutting, treat it in a certain way, put it in a pot, and then have a few leaves at the top, and then the roots will start coming out. Yeah? So there's basically, in most plants, no, all plants that can be propagated like this, they will have little areas that can basically turn either into a leaf or into a root. It's a kind of cell that they have, and they just start splitting off as soon as they notice the environment is right.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
All these eyes, let's say,
eyes.
either will become a leaf or a root, but we don't know that.
They decide according to the environment that they're in.
I see.
No.
Or
That's
maybe
the
the corpse for fruit. Or maybe fruit.
No, also flowers can be. Yeah, it's
Maybe we
variable
can
like
see
that.
this later in the fruit trees.
So the process itself, it's relatively simple. I'm just going to do it once now, so you can understand, and then I'll go through the other questions here, and then at the end we'll start doing it. So let's hope it's not too windy. I'm taking out some rooting hormone. You can buy this in all the agricultural stores. It looks like this. Never seen a different one in Greece. Yeah, it's €8 for a pot. So you take your little cutting, and actually I didn't prepare.
So without it will not work, or it will take more time?
Look, some plants are better at this process than others, and this will ensure your success. Like the hormone will help you make a success out of it. So for instance with goji berry, I know that they are doing quite well, they do quite well. But something like rosemary or something like a more dry land plant, they sometimes have a bit more trouble. So what I will do is I'll wet one area, or actually I'll take, someone wants a goji berry, there's a single one. I'll wet this, and then basically you just tap it. Okay, it's not really working. Tap it like that.
Can you put too much? Is that a...
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna cost you. It's expensive stuff. Whoop. And I just spilled.
We
So,
roots there.
Yeah. So you tap it and it,
So the roots, but also at the point that you cut it.
um,
So the base.
from the base.
Yeah.
I've never done it, but yeah, it makes sense. And so yeah, then. Too many things. So you have some different kinds of compost. I've also used straight soil, like soil like this. Some plants it makes a success, some it doesn't. Usually it's best if there is some fertility in the soil. So make a little hole. And you press it. Okay, I'll need to add some. So that's it basically. That's how difficult the process is. But you have to imagine that this is not everything. This is not the whole process. Right now it starts basically. So what happens afterwards, the taking care, I'll handle it at the wear point. It's also very, very important. Like you cannot just leave these out in the sun.
So till now, no water.
Look, I don't immediately add water. I would wait until the rest of the plants are potted and then it's not so necessary.
But we should water.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So imagine that right now the plant is the most stressed that it's going to be in its lifetime. Basically, it's just a bare stick, and it's going to recognize that this is happening and try to save itself by taking all of its hormones that it has from itself and from the hormone that we gave it, and use those cells to change into roots and send out. But during that time, it's quite fragile. It's like a baby. Yeah, like a baby. It needs care, basically. Like it needs constant care. Yeah. So the mint plant, it would be the same. But no, let's do a presentation first before I go into the different methods. So yeah, I basically handled the what. Does anyone have any more questions about what we're doing?
I have a question. Can we use, instead of the hormone, banana that I saw in the
Yeah,
video?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it has potassium inside and different things.
I like potato also.
Starch, I've read about. I don't know exactly what it
Okay.
is. It could be, but the starches has, you know, like it's a sugar that you give can give to plants, like starches like that. I've seen people do it. I just don't know what exactly the mechanism is behind it.
So with banana, the idea is that you stick. I think I have seen this video. You put the stick inside the banana instead of the. Oh no, I'm asking. I don't know.
I haven't seen this.
Okay.
I've only heard of people doing similar things, like burying banana or burying like some potassium, basically, which.
Or honey. They say if
Yeah.
you have a jar of honey, you can
Yeah.
use this in order to
No.
give some good nutrients.
The main point is that this plant is really fragile right now. It needs some care. Yeah. So who can we do this with? Certain plants, especially the low-growing plants, a lot of the time they can be propagated like this. So sage, rosemary, goji berry,
Lavender.
lavender, mint. All of the mint family does really, really well.
Basil. Basil.
Basil.
So
Basically potting herbs.
okay, so
Yeah.
it's not. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, no, interrupt, please.
So it's not really ideal for fruit.
Look, some that's the
trees.
thing. Certain trees do very well, and certain trees just don't do it at all.
Don't do it at all.
At all. So, for instance, the mulberry is a kind of tree that you can generally, if you can cut the tree and it comes back like this, it does well with being made cuttings. So, for instance, the mulberry does well. I've heard people do it with olive. I've never done it myself. Let's see what other plants.
With
I
fig
brought
trees,
one.
I think.
Fig trees, yeah, fig trees, absolutely. Mulberry is This is mulberry. It's my favorite, new favorite Greek plant. I can give you the Latin name later. I don't know it by my head.
What's this?
It's called elderberry.
Okay.
If we've is it? Mura?
No, μελικοκιά.
Melikyokia?
Μελικοκιά.
Δηλαδή, είναι έτσι λέγεται.
Είναι μεγάλο δέντρο που κάνει ένα πολύ very small black
Blackberries. It ends in like a upside down spreading pattern.
yeah, like grapes.
Like grapes. Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
No.
They
You can make jams
out
out of it and things like that. It grows very, very well in the Greek
Yeah.
climate. Like I've
very
not always done automatic irrigation, and these are the ones that survived my attempts at just hand watering, basically, which is not always a good idea.
forest trees, so it's
Yeah, and it can spread through the berries, so the birds will eat the berries, and then they poop somewhere on the fence, and hopefully it comes out. And then we also have, for instance, willow, which also really does well with cuttings.
What's this?
Willow, salix.
Κλαίος, αλήθεια.
This is weaving willow, actually. Weaving for making baskets.
Weaving
Yeah, I'm very happy. I
για
took this.
καλάθια, φλέξιμο καλάθια. It's not the weeping.
Not weeping. No, I don't really like that.
Weeping.
It's I don't know, like I don't like the form, the way that the wood is formed. So yeah, who can we do this to? Generally plants that cut and come back. So an oak tree or a pine tree. So where do we do this? I decided to use the where as a kind of like how do you take care of the context that they're in, basically. So generally I would say something like using little stakes with the little snake or tube that comes from a larger tube, or a sprinkler of some kind, like the one that there was like a little fountain. I wouldn't use hand watering or something like that, because you have to imagine that this is at a very, very fragile state, and if it gets interrupted in its rooting process, even one day like completely dry, it can be very bad for the situation, because it doesn't have roots yet to hold itself together. For instance, I have taken in the Netherlands, I've taken willow. This was a cutting willow that they make into the mushroom shapes. I don't know if you remember, if you've ever seen those in the Netherlands. And I took one like this, and I dug a hole straight down with one of those twisty things, stuck it in there, and by the end of the year it was a tree.
What tree?
Willow.
And
same
where did
as
you
this.
plant them?
Yeah.
Let's say
No rooting process beforehand, nothing, just stick the thing into the ground.
Like no,
But
no
the
hormones?
conditions are very... Sorry?
You didn't use any hormones when you did it?
No, just
Okay.
stick the thing in.
And the watering was
Look, that's the thing. In the Netherlands, where I was, the groundwater was 80 centimeters underneath the ground. So
it had all the water it
yeah,
needed.
it needed. So that's the thing. The conditions basically need to be right. But it's possible. With mulberry, I think it's been done, like just sticking it in the ground. Yeah, bigger things that were bigger, like willow. That kind of thing. But I wouldn't think. I would start with small stuff basically, because that has the most chance to. Yeah.
And rosemary can be done only in water, or should we?
No, I would say this first. So when I actually suggested this workshop at this time of year, because in my opinion this is the best time of year to do it. Everything is shooting, as you see, like everything in nature is going, and that means that there's lots of growth hormone in the plants. Like they are producing growth hormone by themselves as a chemical basically, and they send it. This is lovely, I really love it. So gets happily surprised. So they're producing growth hormone by themselves as a chemical factory that they are, and this helps them to turn the nutrients from downstairs into upstairs leaves. But it can also be used to send out roots. So this is the best time. Another time that is good, I would say, is in the autumn. So you're going into winter, you have a little maybe greenhouse or some place that it's a little bit better, on a balcony maybe, whatever. And then you go through winter, the plant gets a chance to root, but it doesn't immediately face the heat of summer basically. If you do this in the middle of summer, it will be a little bit stressed. It will be a lot more stressed. and wintertime it doesn't have too much sunlight, so the photosynthesis doesn't work so well. So autumn and spring, I'd say.
Okay,
And then
so we don't need so much sun.
I would no. That's no. I forgot. Good that you said. At the where, the area that I would keep them, I would keep it kind of morning sun,
Okay.
or in the semi-shade. So
No,
if
no
you-
scorching sun.
No, they don't like. No, like I think of it. You wouldn't put Athena in the
Indeed.
scorching sun, so no. So yeah, basically location-wise, some area that is relatively cool, but it does get some sunlight because they need to produce sugars through photosynthesis. We're gonna leave some leaves on there. And then why? I think one of the great things about this is that you can propagate lots of plants quickly. So you can, you know, like if you start everything from seed, like we've taken one lavender plant. I saw a little lavender seed come up, and I've potted it. And 3 years later, now it's like this, right? But if you take a lavender cutting, it can be like that in 1 year, and it will be, you know, ready to be planted, or already even grown. So it speeds up the process. Yeah.
And it will be the same strong, the question that
No, the question,
she's not
Agati,
here.
can you say it again for the camera?
Yeah, okay. I was wondering if by propagating the new plant will be equally strong with the mother plant,
Yeah.
let's say.
So generally I would say that it's equally strong. The only thing is that sometimes people say that they don't produce taproot in the same way. I haven't seen proof for this. Most plants that I know, like lavender and whatever, they are being propagated like this, so they're obviously doing fine, you know.
Can I translate taproot?
Taproot, no, of course.
Taproot είναι η πασαλώδης ρίζα και είναι η ρίζα που είναι η πρώτη που αναπτύσσεται και πηγαίνει η καρφή κάτω.
Oh.
Και όταν έχουμε κλαδεμένο δέντρο ή δέντρο που έχει γίνει από μόσχευμα, έχουμε μόνο απλές ρίζες, δεν έχουμε την πασαλώδη ρίζα.
Okay.
Αυτό είναι ένα από τα μειονεκτήματα.
So I haven't seen proof for this. I've also seen proof the other way, that they do produce taproots. I guess it's plant specific. Like you won't know exactly the same answer for every plant.
So in order to have the taproot, you should like grow it from the seed, or so the
So,
seed.
for instance, I have a video on my channel where I give, where I sprout acorns. Like you take a, how do you say acorn? Velanidi. Love it. It's what she likes right now. But you see little root come out, right? And I've potted them, and within 1 year, the taproot is this deep, and then it can go like 1.5 to 2 meters in 2 years. That's needed for that tree, but it won't happen if you were to make cotton. That's the general consensus.
Is there a limit? Like, say I take a plant, cut it, grow another plant, and then from that second plant do a cutting.
Nope.
I can
What's
just keep going.
Yeah, it's what happened. So basically, this comes to the next argument, or the next point in favor of this process, is that you're basically cloning. So whatever qualities that you like about the mother plant will be the same in the plant that you're producing. And that means that, for instance, I'm sure that, for instance, lemon verbena or certain kinds of, you know, like lavender that have super pretty leaves, you know, like someone found at some point a variety of seeds that came out like that. And because we have this process, you can multiply it and show it without it changing. Because if you have the seed, the flower gets pollinated, new genome gets created, and that goes into the soil and comes up quite different, possibly different.
Even if it's a seed from the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's not guaranteed, but the chance is higher if you, like for instance, if we're talking about apples, almost all apples that we eat today have been grafted. So there's a rootstock, and then they take the plant that they like with the apples that they like, and they put it on the rootstock.
We can see very clearly about this in every tree plant we have, every fruit tree. You can see the rootstock
Yeah,
and
the grafting.
scion.
Science. Yeah.
Translation υποτίθεται. Είναι το υποκείμενο που είναι αυτό που χρησιμοποιούμε μια ρίζα. Ας πούμε η αμυγδαλιά έχει πολύ δυνατή ρίζα, η άκρα. Και πάνω μπορείς να μπολιάσεις ροδάκινο. Αν κάνεις cutting από ροδάκινο και βγάλει ρίζα το ροδάκινο, δεν είναι δυνατή η ρίζα, δεν σε συμφέρει. Και θα δούμε μετά στα φρουτόδεντρα πώς φαίνεται το εμβολιασμένο η ποικιλία πάνω στο υποκείμενο, στη ρίζα.
Ναι, όλα έτσι.
Περισσότερα
And in Kalamata, in my village, the most of the olive trees that we have, they are wild olives that are made with this technique.
Frankenstein.
There is an artist that he had taken one tree and he had put many different trees and
Yeah, this is the stone fruit family, what we were talking about before, the
prunus.
almond and apricot and peach, and they grow up very well. So
I think in Greek it's πυρηνόκαρπα.
Okay.
One more. So when the plants are cloned, they're cloned like without any mutation basically to their genome.
Yeah.
Or is there a little bit of mutation?
Look, I haven't heard of variety happening on the end of a plant like this, basically, that it starts to grow something new out of its own accord.
Yeah.
It could be that it's happening. I have no idea.
But mutations can happen also through environment, so I think.
Yeah, I'm just more so wondering, like, scientifically, is it literally just the DNA is copied, or is there kind of this stage, maybe when it's weak, where the DNA is a bit fragile and can be mutated? Similar in the way that...
like a degeneration kind of thing.
Yeah. Just
I
like
haven't seen evidence of that.
Okay.
No. And I'm pretty sure actually that the majority of the kitchen herbs that we use, like sage or...
they're all like that?
Yeah. We know their taste because people have been able to do this process. So yeah, one more thing. Generally, if you have a little bit more woody plant, I would say you don't use more than 1 year old wood. Try to use 1 year old wood. So for instance, what you see here, I'm going to come up to the camera a little bit. This green stuff here, that's from this year. This is from the year before. Yeah, so it grew this much by the end of summer last year. This would have been 2 year old, right? And the younger the wood is, or like if it's a woody plant, the more likely it is to just cooperate, basically, to work with the process. That's it.